go and build them a home. Only one word alone would breathe life to these bones. To raise up a whole nation, covenant made with stone. That's what I got when my rib was taken and cloned. Y'all said it's no longer good for you to be lone. Hearken to my commandments, go and claim you a throne. Then maybe you could be the one that I will raise to live on. See imperfections in the past is what the most I let slide. To hearken to every word to do was right in his eyes. Sacrifices must be made, the biggest one will be pride. Appreciate all your virtues and your patience inside. Is the beauty truly Yahweh brought forth to let shine. Every second I know with you like a moment in time. Yah gave me something priceless, I ain't paying a dime. And I can't wait to celebrate the day of me and my bride. To say, you're my love, my everything. I love my queen, her virtuous queen for this Hebrew king. You're all that I need, can't wait for forever to show all my love. A blessing from heaven above, and Yahweh is where we put in all our trust. Hanika horror love, Hanika horror love, this Hanika horror love. 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 Hanika horror love. We good as long as we in the most high truth. Rockin' 3/4 of cloth, never show me your stuff off, boo. I'm a Boaz and I found me a roof. Make sure that we set and steady what this crown gon' do. See, apologies were made before Yahweh brought two. A full connection, seek profession, testimony will prove. If you do the righteous way, that's not the way you gon' lose. If we seek the whole of the pit and the rock from where hewn, Abraham and Sarah, example of his king and his queen. So to you, I will give the nose jewels and the rings, the ornament on your ankle so your feet can just team. Besides, y'all the only one that go and get me the scene to say, you're my love, my everything. I love my queen, her virtuous queen for this Hebrew king. You're all that I need, can't wait for forever to show all my love. A blessing from heaven above, and Yahweh is where we put in all our trust. Hanika horror love, Hanika horror love, this Hanika horror love. 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 Hanika horror love. Yeah, Hanika horror love. I am black love. I praise the Most High Yah for sending me my queen. For all the trials and tribulations we went through, we found each other. And in the 5th month, Yahweh brought us back together. He commanded the blessing, and I praise the Most High for the blessing that he sent to me. And remember, you know what? Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but the woman that feareth Yahweh, she shall be praised. I praise Yah for sending me my Proverbs 31. I love you, sweet, my precious stone.
Remember you a queen. Yeah. Remember you a queen. Yeah. Before you learn to drop it down and bust it open, remember you were never this open. Remember you a queen. Remember you a queen. Yeah. Everybody must respect you, but first gotta respect yourself. I just thought I'd come and share my point of view. Got a few things on my chest, yeah, yeah. Got 5 daughters that I care about. The community, what I care about. Elevation, what I'm all about, yeah. Whoa. Yeah, y'all mean that much to me. Strive to reach our memory. No more penitentiary. I'm talking about mentally. Mentally take this ride with me. Mentally let me set you free. Oh, mentally let me set you free. We hope you can consider what I'm talking about. Remember you are a queen. Yeah. Remember you are a queen. Yeah. Before you learn to drop it down and bust it open, remember you were never this open. Remember you are a queen. Remember you are a queen. Yeah. Woo. They don't love you like I love you for real. They just wanna see you dry. They just wanna trick their money for real. Don't let them help you stock drop. Reserve yourself for the real unless you reveal. Make these men have to come at you real, yeah. Message inside the bottle, I put it in a bottle. All you gotta do is play this song and it open up the bottle. Remember you are a queen. Yeah. Remember you are a queen. Yeah. Before you learn to drop it down and bust it open, remember you were never this open. Remember you are a queen. Remember you are a queen. Yeah. Woo.
Give me a bottle, you got me to acknowledge I done broke my promise, cause I got a lady but it's simply an honor. No baby mama, cause I ain't with no drama. Still tuck that llama, all under my designer. What you drinking, baby? Me, I'm an ace of spaded. Loud got me looking all crazy. Definitely leaving here faded. Took the valet to get the Mercedes. Hop in that passenger, we can proceed the procedure to make babies. But let's wrap it up with your fine ass. Really wanna slap it up. Nose legs like a wine glass. When it's rich, head crack like a 4-5-6. She told me I'm a bad boy, no kiss. Goddamn it, she shook it like a pit. Took her to the A, had to hide her from Vic. Something about her style got me open. I picture her nice smile when me holding hand. Snap out of it. Enough with that romance. Get with the program, and now she wanna slow dance. Just cause she a model bra, juice gon' show down an island. Sitting at the bar, looking for a star like me to holler. Them other bras ain't on her level. She ain't gotta wait no more. You ain't gotta wait no more. Them model bra, juice gon' show down an island. Sitting at the bar, looking for a star like me to holler. Them other bras ain't on her level. She ain't gotta wait no more. You ain't gotta wait no more. That dance floor is like the Wild Wild West. VIP. Niggas better not spill my drink. Staying independent, I'ma know when it's the right time to sign that ink. Fuck by the security, I know when it's thing. Told her now you talking. Juice gon' stroll down Island. Sitting at the bar, looking for a star like me to holler. Them other bras ain't on a level. She ain't gotta wait no more. You ain't gotta wait no more.
Giving all glory, all praises to the Most High by saying hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Thank everybody for tuning in again for another episode of Marriage and Relationships. This is episode 21. Please subscribe, share the video. And of course, we had a host here, Maury Yemuel, and he's going to introduce our topics for today. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Welcome back to another episode. I believe this might be our 21st episode
Yes, sir.
of trying to enlighten one another, the genders on relationship and marriage. Hopefully those relationships that will lead to a productive marriage. But in order for it to lead to a productive marriage, first of all, it has to be a productive relationship in general with good communication. Without communication, if people are in relationships just for the lust part of a relationship, and it shouldn't be a lust, but if they're in a relationship for the wrong reasons, most likely there's going to be some problems. It's not going to end well. It definitely won't end in a marriage. So we're going to kick the ball around, but before we do that, Kim, if you will, I'd like for you to and the relationships that we talk about hopefully will lead to a marriage if you guys are not already married. And again, the goal is to help people understand our errors, males and females, and how we can become better suited for one another. How a woman can be better suited for okay, I got you. We're going to talk about how a woman can be better suited for a man and how a man can be better suited. This here, young man, go ahead and introduce yourself.
What is it? My name Avery Hicks, and I'm just here with the men to talk about the marriage and relationships for today. For me, the guests.
So second time being on here.
Oh
man.
yeah.
Did you enjoy the first conversation?
Speak up, man. You got on them muscles and everything. Don't be all soft now.
The last three.
Okay.
Yeah, the first one was on a podcast, and the last one was private. You feel me? And then it's the third time. Yeah, but I enjoy myself for sure. For sure. Yeah.
Your views might be a little different, you know what I mean? Just
Yeah.
want everybody to be men, everybody be comfortable, you know what I'm saying? And we all here to bond one another, strengthen one another, and help each other out. You know what
Nah, I feel
Go
that.
out here and deal with the world. So,
Yes, sir.
Your mic is
Yes,
on.
sir.
but yeah, y'all.
Your mic is on. Make sure you- Okay, so we're going to get it started. And again, let me say this first and foremost. When I am talking about women, please understand I am not speaking on all women. And when I speak on men, I am not speaking on all men. I will be talking about most, though, in this country. And the reason I say I am talking about most is because we came up living under a bunch of abnormalities in our relationships. And we weren't taught right. We Men weren't, for the most part, not all men, we weren't taught how to be husbands. And women, for the most part, again, not all women, were not taught how to be wives. And we haven't had those conversations, those deep conversations. And the first thing we got to do is acknowledge our own shortcomings, if you will. So I want to start out with a question. Was man and woman made to be together? Or was men supposed to be just hanging out with themselves and women supposed to be hanging out with themselves? Why was woman even created? And when was woman created? What was the purpose of a woman being created? Keem, if you don't mind, answer that question, and then Avery, we're going to get your response on the way he answered that question.
So a woman was created to support her man. A woman was created to be a helpmeet. Almighty created Adam first, and he left Adam to keep the earth, to replenish the earth, to be fruitful, to be multiplied. He couldn't do that without his counterpart. So the Almighty made him a helpmeet because he said it wasn't good for man to be alone. And this woman was to be ruled over, and her desire was to be unto her husband. So she was basically to whatever he needed in terms of help. If it was in her capability, she would do that. So that would be the purpose of a woman. And to help procreate as well.
So now what I want you to do before we get a little deeper into this, what I'd like you to do is I need you to verify that by scriptures. So let's start with, I believe it's going to be Genesis, the 2nd chapter, maybe somewhere around the 18th verse. It's where that marriage, because see, when he's talking about that woman, we're talking about that woman who's in the place of a wife. Not a girlfriend, but a wife. So after he reads Genesis, starting at the 2nd chapter, the 18th verse, then I want him to go to actually Genesis, the 3rd chapter, the 16th verse, and then he can also read the 17th verse. That's going to be the consequence for the woman who's the wife and the man who's the husband, if you will.
Genesis 2:18. And Yah Elohim said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. And out of the ground, Yahweh Elohim formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them unto Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave names to all the cattle, and to the fowl of the air, and to every beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helpmeet for him. And Yahweh Elohim caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs and closed up the flesh instead thereof. And the rib which Yahweh Elohim had taken from man made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, and she shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Now, if you will, go to Genesis, the 3rd chapter, the 16th and the 17th verse.
And unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree which I command you, saying, you will not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake, and in sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of your life.
Now, let's understand that relationships were not meant to be boyfriend, girlfriend type situations, okay? Doing things that pertain to married people, procreating. The Almighty had already set marriage up for that, to where you not only would have a helpmate, but you would procreate as well. Matter of fact, I want you to go one more place before we really get into this conversation here. Good. If you will, go to the book of Deuteronomy, the 24th chapter, and just start there. And this is going to be talking about the bill of divorcement. When a man no longer finds that woman to be what he would like to have, then he can give her a bill of divorcement. But I want you to see this written in the law and then we'll take it from there so we can move forward.
All right. Deuteronomy 24:1. When a man have taken a wife and married her, and it come to pass that she find no favor in his eyes, because he has found some uncleanness in her, then let him write her a bill of divorcement, and give it in her hand, and send her out of his house. And when she is left out of his house, she may go and be another man's wife. And if the latter husband hate her, and write her a bill of divorcement too, and gives it into her hand, and sends her out of his house, or if the latter husband die, which took her to be his wife, her former husband, her first husband, which sent her away, may not take her again to be his wife. After that, she is defiled, for that is an abomination before Yah. And thou shalt not cause the land to sin, which Yahweh Elohim gives thee for an inheritance.
Hallelujah. Now, here's what I'm going to do, just so we can all be on the same page. I'm going to fast forward some things, and then we're going to get into a deep conversation. But in order for this conversation to work, we're going to have some accountability on both sides. The men are going to have accountability, and the women are going to have accountability. And that's the way we start to repair the damage that we've done, how we've profaned the Almighty's laws, but we want to be blessed, even though we're living under a curse, and we don't really understand that even the Almighty said he's already cursed our blessings. And we are not wise enough to take heed and do what's right in his sight. So, to fast forward to the day, it seems like we have a lot more baby mothers and baby fathers in this country that we live in than we actually have marriages. Today, marriages, for whatever reason, and we'll get into that, they're not working. Matter of fact, marriage is on the decline. Did you guys know that?
Oh, yeah.
Marriage is completely on the decline. And so we're going to talk about some things, and we're going to see if we can come up with maybe some resolve. So when I said we're going to fast forward, we're going to say, all right, at our ages that we are now, we've already had previous experience having even girlfriends. I've been guilty of having girlfriends. I've stated that before. I've even been married before. I'm sure you've had girlfriends, and we were all doing things that we ought not have been doing. Mm-hmm. Even though we may have known better. I'll say we may have known better. A lot of the world don't really know better. Right. Because we are people that just do what we see done. We say, okay, people have girlfriends and boyfriends, so we go out and we do the same thing. Not having the foundation of the order of the way things actually should have been, right? Unless we were actually just brought up in the law from our youth and then we actually knew that, right? So today, women are laying with men that they're not married to. Men, we talked about marriage on here, men decide who get married, right? Women decide who they will lay with. But a woman can't lay with a man if a man wasn't pressing her or dealing with her in a manner to get her to do that unless he was attacking her. Right. You see what I'm saying? And if he was attacking her, then shame on him, he got to go. So that being said, men have to admit that they're out of order by trying to lay with these women that they're not married to. And women have to admit that they're out of order for laying with a man that they're not married to. And if we want to be technical about it, if we just want to have the plain truth, no sugarcoating at all on it, the Almighty describes a woman who is laying with a man that she is not married to as a what?
Whore.
As a what?
Whore.
And that man would be a what?
Whoremonger.
So the woman would be labeled a whore, and the man would be the whoremonger. So you can't have a whore without a whoremonger, right? So my suggestion is that women don't open their legs for these men. And I'm a man saying this. If you're not married, don't do it, because a lot of times women won't accept accountability for the mistakes, we'll call it a mistake, that they've made. Because you might have one baby, two babies, or how many ever babies by either one father or multiple fathers. And then there's a situation, and then now the child is already at a deficit. The child don't have the balance and security that he or she actually needs. And we're the ones as adults that are putting these children in these predicaments. So here's my first question. In today's time, what do you fellas think? Do you think that women and men, do they work out their healing before they enter into a relationship? Or do we even check ourselves? Are we honest with ourselves to see, like, I got to get me together before I start looking for a woman who actually has herself together? Because we all need some improvement, even today. Regardless of how much I work on myself, I need to continually work on myself throughout the rest of my days. Because we were all brought up with a bunch of abnormalities. We saw things, and we've all dealt with trauma, whether we realize it or not. And so we have to work through that so we can be better in relationships if we, in fact, really want to have healthy relationships that will lead to a productive marriage, and so that we can raise children to be an Elohimly seed, to be a godly seed. Because we want our children, I would like to believe anyway, to be much better than we are. Not that we're bums or anything like that, but my hope is that my children will be better than me.
Absolutely. Right.
So I want you to respond, and then I want you to respond, because we want to try to get some insight to the people who are serious about relationships that will hopefully lead to a marriage if in fact they're not already married.
Yeah, I had seen a quote on Facebook. It said it had ran viral. He said, "I think this generation got healing and hoeing confused." I thought that was pretty funny.
But deep.
But yeah, it's true. You know what I'm saying? Men and women both. I call it working on your void. You know what I'm saying? Work on healing yourself properly. You know what I'm saying? Because we come from abnormalities, as the elder always say. We may come from relationships where it was, we went through traumatic things. So we got to spend a lot of time with ourselves and figure out why did we even indulge in those type of situations if it didn't, work out for the long term. Because if relationships don't work out for the long term, generally, unless there's, you got a seed out of it, generally it was a waste of time. You know what I'm saying? So we don't want to be wasting time, because that's the one thing we can't get back. And that's, that's my personal reason for, taking my time when it comes to relationships and things of that nature, and make sure I get the right one, because, I want to build a solid foundation with a woman. I don't want anything built on anything that's, deceptive or sturdy or in any type of way. But, men, for the most part, we got to spend time gathering our resources, establishing ourselves, getting to the bread. Like, I'm gonna just keep it real. We gotta focus on getting our money up, and working on our physical health. You know what I'm saying? Our social health as well. Like, all these things play a part in the development of a man. So, men have to especially do the healing, because we're the ones, as the elder always say, we are the gates to marriage. So, a woman can't get married unless, we take on that role and say, hey, I want this woman to be my wife. So we got to know how to pick the right woman. And that take discipline, that take understanding yourself, patience, and things of that nature. So to me, it's no option. There's no option to whether you heal before you get into a relationship or not. And if you already are fully healed, you got a plan. You got a written plan out. A lot of people don't plan to fail, they just fail to plan. So, those are the things that I feel like people should focus on before getting into a relationship.
Let me repeat that question for you to make sure you didn't get lost, because he said a lot.
No. Yeah.
You remember the question? The question again was, do women or men work on their own healing before entering into a relationship, or do we even check ourselves? Because we all need some improvement. So speak on that, because I'm going to ask that next question I'm asking is going to be deep based on the answers that we give here.
I'm going to say no.
No, wait, explain. Or you said no, that we don't work on ourselves?
I'm going to just say from my personal experiences, me, to keep it all the way 100. I say no. People don't plan to heal themselves properly. I know for me and my experiences, I'm gonna say this is more so because we choose our selfish desires over really healing. Because sometimes picking us being selfish than healing, I have jumped from relationship to relationship, from female to female because I'm hurt. I don't know how to cope with it properly. So me going out there because I am in pain and trauma and stuff like that of the previous relationship I have indulged in, not healing properly. Oh, I just heal with this person while I'm hurt. It keep your mind off the previous relationship. You feel what I'm saying? So for me,
We all been guilty of it.
I'm just being real, and I'm still, hey, like I said, I'm gonna keep it 100. I'm kind of still in the situation now and doing the same thing. But that's the good thing about this podcast is I can learn to take accountability. You feel me?
Let me say this. We've all been guilty of that. It's when we start to acknowledge it, it's the only time we can actually do something about it. But we have to be serious about the relationship. There's an old saying that's actually true. Hurt people hurt people.
Dang.
So if we go, you've heard that before? So if you've been hurt by a relationship before, 9 times out of 10, someone has been hurt by you before from that very relationship. Because if we don't work on the things that we need to work on to be better, then we're definitely going to have some issues. And see, here's the thing. We think that we're all right for the most part. But that's not the way our mate would end up seeing it, especially if they have legitimate complaints. So we have to be able to be honest with ourselves. If they actually have a legitimate complaint, then that means I need to get some things together, just like vice versa. If I have a legitimate complaint with the woman that I'm with, she has to be willing to listen and then acknowledge it and then do something to repair that.
Right.
But a lot of people don't, they, even if they might want to do that, they don't know where to start. They don't know how to start.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so sometimes things never get started. But I'm going to ask the question that's going to get us deeper into some things. And we're going to go back and forth with some male-female type situations. And I'm going to ask this question that most women would probably take offense to. But if you're looking at someone to build with, someone that you want to invest your time and resources with to build a relationship that will hopefully lead to a marriage, you want to know certain things. Does a woman's past count when a man is looking for a wife? In other words, do you say, hey, look, whatever you did before me, that was then and this is now? Or do you need to know something about her past? So this is deep. So I want to start with you, young man. Give me some response. And that's why I say I want y'all to really consider your answers, because your answer may or may not condemn you, because the truth is going to be consistent. Now, me personally, I'm going to say this. For me, a woman's past matters. We're going to go back and forth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm gonna say exactly what I said last week. What the scriptures quote: "Where are the tokens of her virginity?" You know what I'm saying? If the Almighty didn't want us to consider a woman's past, He wouldn't have gave us the law of Deuteronomy 24. He wouldn't have gave us the law of virginity. You know what I'm saying? First and foremost, as I said, a man got to get to that bread, he got to get to that bag, because if he want a wife, he got to be able to take care of her. Period. That's in the eyes of the Almighty. Don't even approach a woman if you ain't got the substance and the resources to take care of her, because you wasting time. So you had to pay 50 shekels, but the benefit of having that woman is she was a virgin. So absolutely, yes, the past of a woman absolutely counts. Absolutely. And we as young men, we ain't taught that. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, like, we grew up kind of bad, like, as it pertains to women, and I'm sure women have too, so absolutely the past matters.
Elaborate.
Yeah.
Tell me some of those things that actually matter. We coming to you too. So see, because what we're trying to do, we're trying to educate people because we really want people to have better relationships because then they can have long-lasting marriages.
Right, right. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine with a woman asking me how much money I can bring. I'm cool with that.
Let me introduce something else into
I'm a
this
straight up
equation.
ass. Hey, how many? You know what I'm
Would you mind
saying?
for just a second? Let me bring something else into the equation that I want you fellas to consider. If a woman say she's a different person today, but say she has several different baby fathers, say she's had several different experiences, and she's not hiding that, and
Right.
she's not healed from any of those traumas that she's been dealing with, but you like her because she's cute, because she's pretty. You see, is that going to make a difference? If she say that she used to be a sex worker, but she don't do that no more. She quit 5, 6 years ago or whatever. See, and I'm being very serious because a lot of times, because men are visual, then they will accept certain things and act like. But that's just like if I knew one of my close friends, a woman, and then if I knew her, right, and knew her in an intimate way, and then he found out that he was interested in her. Should I, as a man, say something? Hey, man, I used to date her about maybe 5 years ago. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So certain things because a woman might not say that to the man, even though she knows she used to deal with his friend. And that's his good friend. I think the man that's going to marry her should know that.
Yeah, he shouldn't want her.
So,
He shouldn't want her no
so
more.
your mic is not on, but I want to get back to you, and then I'm going to butt out for a minute.
I'm gonna keep it short. Like, I'm gonna just be honest. What matters the most is how many men she done slept with. Because, like, now we dealing, like I say, you cannot build no relationship off of lies. You gotta have absolute truth, like, when you dealing with somebody, because you gotta know who you're dealing with. If you're gonna be with this person for some time, don't be scared of who they are. You know what I mean? Vice versa. Women, don't be scared of who the man is. Like, be as transparent as possible.
There you go.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so yes, that's the main thing that matters. And if that wasn't the main thing that mattered, the Almighty wouldn't have mentioned it as the main thing that mattered. So, even if, and let me just say one more thing, it's nothing wrong with a woman, like, if she come into the situation with children or something. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But what does matter is how many men you done slept with. Because you can come with children and you just been with this one man your whole life. Or you been with two, let's say. You know what I'm saying? But if you got children and you got a high, like a super, like, come on. You know what I'm saying? That's just that's how I feel about it.
And I want you to speak, but let me say this here. I would want you to know if you were interested in someone that I've been with and we're close. I think that you should know that. Absolutely. Because if you found out later on and no one ever told you, that should be a problem.
Yeah, fact.
Dang, that was a lot. You just said. Yeah, it matter about the bodies and all that, and the past does matter. I need to know how many men you've been with. I need to know how you act under pressure, your attitude, and all that. But if you really want to know all that, the fastest way to know her characteristics is look at her mother. That's all you need.
Not necessarily.
You can look at the mom. 90% of the time, how she act is from the mother. It's the same thing with me and my pops.
What about if she was a problem child?
The mother.
Not the mother. What if the child was just a problem child?
What do you mean a problem child?
We got this on. There's sometimes in certain cases, I don't know if you're familiar how some children can be estranged from the womb. You're probably familiar with that passage, right? Mm-hmm. And in other words, that child, not whether it be a male or a female, not really wanting to be close to anybody. They're just going to be different. They're going to walk their own walk, do their own thing. That might be that child that you had to tear his or her butt up a whole bunch of times. So we can't say that every single time it's going to be that mother's fault or that father's fault. It could just be you got a little devil seed, so to speak, you see, who just want to do whatever he or she want to do. See, a lot of times we want to look at the mother, and in some cases that's going to be the truth. But when you have a child and trust and believe the way the world is today, it appears to me that there are a lot of children that are estranged from the womb that grow up making babies and say their mother might not have been that way. So we can't say that the child is always following the leader. But go ahead, give me some input on that.
That's interesting you said that, though. I ain't never heard in the history of humanity of that happen. Of a child just growing up being like that. It has to be something. There has to be something of why that child is like that. It has to be because who you are, your characteristics, your DNA, that's where it started at. You gonna act like either one of your parents. The character, or you act just like your daddy, or you get that from your mom. That's biology. You feel me?
Let me give you an example for a second. Say you short, and I'm short, but you end up with a child that grows to be much taller than you.
Right.
Maybe even a foot taller than you, but you short, and the wife is short. Do that mean that your wife cheated? Absolutely not. Because sometimes things can jump
from generations.
You see what I'm saying? There you go. So it could, same thing with DNA. Same thing.
Yeah, so
See, because if we get technical, I have the DNA of my ancestors that came before me in me. Say, for example, my father and my father's father, and all this was passed down. So it gets really deep. It gets really deep. Here, get your mic there. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I mean, though. If you, like I was saying about the mother and a woman. Okay, you said you got your who you are from generations back down. Okay, somebody in your family know about that one person.
But it don't necessarily be the mom. That's the point I'm making.
Okay, but it got to come from somewhere. It may not be the mom, but somebody knew that that grandma or whatever. It came from somewhere.
Somewhere.
So you got to go deep in the past. Like you said, does the past matter? We got to go in the past to get it.
So that's what all of us. So what I'm saying is that don't mean that it's the mother's fault. See, when it comes to accountability, we're going to put well, people have to take accountability. In a case like that, we don't know. We don't know.
Yeah, that's
In a case like that, we don't know. Give me some input.
Yeah, both of y'all are correct. You know what I mean? In most cases, you do have to look at the parents. There are some cases though to where when you look at the child behaves completely different than what they. And usually they got something to do with who they hanging out with. You know what I'm saying? Because sometimes your friends can have an influence on you and scare you away from your parent, what your parents taught you. And that's not happened to many of us before. Like, people have to, hey, man, that ain't you, man. You know what I'm saying? Your parents ain't raised you like that, man. Come on, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times, and that's what I said yesterday when we was at class, like a lot of times, you got to hear it from somebody else other than your parents sometimes. Because when you just getting it from your parents, it's like, oh, it's going. Eventually, that person ears start to get kind of heavy. Like, oh, they always on my back. They always on this. They don't understand me. You know what I'm saying? But when they go out here in the world, you might have somebody that show them love, like what they think is love anyway, and get to manipulating them. Like, look, just go do this for me. Like, you know what I'm saying? They get to, get led down the wrong path. Like, because you got people out here that prey on people, like, you know what I'm saying? Especially if you come from like good parents or something like that. Like, young daughters gotta watch out because there's people out here that are prey on them type of people. Like, so you do have to look at the parents, and you gotta have an honest conversation, especially with that father, because don't nobody know that child like that father do. You know what I'm saying? And that mother though, the mother do too. Really, the mother. Sometimes the father. Because they spend more time with them. So you gotta have that conversation with them parents. Like, hey, keep it real with me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, is there anything I should look out for? Anything I need to know? You know what I'm saying? Because I take my relationship seriously. So parents is very key, and I think that's one of the reasons why people are having such a hard time, because the parents are excluded. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times men just be trying to get some. Women be on the same thing, just be trying to get some, and then it ended up turning into something long term, and next thing you know, things get serious. Like, so doing things in the correct order is everything, man. But to both of y'all points, I feel like y'all both was right about that. You know what I'm saying? So
It's real deep, because when people are not honest with themselves, how can they expect their relationships to actually prosper? And I do believe that when you're searching out for a woman or when a woman is inclined to be with a man. I personally think that it's good that each party know the other person's parents and even build a rapport with those parents. That way, should there be issues, you can always go to the parents, especially if you're a likable individual. If the parents, and a lot of times you can go to the parents, and the parent might tell, especially a father might say to his daughter, "Hey, baby, that ain't the one for you." Because parents pay attention. Men know a man's nature. So when my daughter's at an age to where she might be interested in guys, I know I'm going to know who that individual is. Because my daughter's not going to be sneaky like that. You see what I'm saying? I know that because I know her background. I've been knowing her entire life. So she lives in my house. But the bottom line is, when you have someone who is going to want the best for their child, they should be involved. We should seek their input. And I know in today's times, a lot of people, they don't value their parents' input based on maybe the relationship that they have or don't have. I don't know. But we need to have those particular things that's in place. I would say in today's time that most people who've been in relationships most likely are not healed from the trauma that they possibly went through in previous relationships, or whatever you might want to call them, situationships. So in order for those relationships to move forward, to ensure that you actually have a better relationship, we need to look over some things and be honest with ourselves. We need to recognize our flaws, right? As men, right? We need to recognize our flaws, and we definitely need to work on our flaws. We need to be, but before we can do that now, we got to be honest with ourselves. Because sometimes we get that big head and we say, I'm all right, man, ain't nothing wrong with me. That's her. That's her. No, it's never a one-sided deal in most relationships. Now, I do know in today's time, though, and you can check this out, in today's atmosphere here in this country, you can look on the internet, and I guarantee you 99 out of 100 times you'll see that anytime a relationship don't work, the woman will always, hear what I say, always say that it was that man's fault. Always. Now, I just made a deep statement, didn't I? Search around. In other words, men and women in some cases lack accountability. But when it comes to whoever I'll say, let me just keep it real, who's the queen of not accepting accountability, it would definitely be, for the most part, females. Not saying that men are not put in that position or place themselves in that position where they don't want to be accountable. But we have to stop being defensive, and we got to stop being defensive and stop being submissive of other people. Like if somebody say, you're not right, and then you act like you don't hear that. You don't want to hear it, instead of even considering, am I all the way right? Am I treating this person right? Because if we can make complaints against them, surely they should be able to make those same complaints back, and each party should be willingly trying to remedy that. If in fact they in that relationship for the right reasons. Now, we got a lot of people in relationships today that should not be in relationships. We got a lot of people in relationships, and those relationships are not moving. The only things that's moving is when they're laying down in a different direction. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In other words, it's about the gifts, should I say. It's not about the purpose, the real purpose. And that's a daggone shame, because, see, you would not want your daughter in a relationship like that. I know I wouldn't want mine. Yeah. And I know if you had a child or daughter, you wouldn't want your daughter in a relationship. So we have to acknowledge as men how men can be. As a man, I know a man's nature. And as a man that's at my age that I am, I've dealt with a lot of women in my time. So I actually know a woman's nature too. And most older men will know and recognize a woman's nature. And that nature's always consistent. Always consistent. So let's start talking about some things about how we can bring men and women together the right way. So how do we go about starting the process?
Be friends. Be friends, man. You know, that's the best way to start any relationship. Um, Anything in life, man. You gotta develop a respect for the person. That's only gonna come through spending time with them, seeing them in different, environments, really testing that person's character. Because you don't know nothing until you put it to the test. Period. You know what I'm saying? This got here because it went through the test. Everything around us went through some type of test to before it got, hey, this is certified. Like, so best thing to do is be friends, spend time with each other. You know what I'm saying? Go places with one another. Just enjoy each other's company. And if you a man, you still getting yourself together, I still encourage men to date. You know what I'm saying? I ain't saying go sleep with everything you find, but definitely date. Take women out, man. Enjoy that feminine energy. And then that also will give you a better scope of what you want, what type of woman you want. So.
Define dating,
Yes,
if you
thank
will,
you.
for them.
Thank
That
you.
way, that way you're not vague in anything. Because most people
Right.
today think when you're dating, you're doing all those things that involve dating. And I'm saying date without being sexual.
Yes, intimate. Yeah, you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, I'm not saying don't kiss the woman or she can't kiss you, but as far as entering into that woman, I would not recommend it at all. I would not recommend that woman even trying to entice that man to lay with her.
Right.
I wouldn't.
Yeah, what I meant by that is exactly just be a gentleman. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, be a gentleman. Take her out places. Go places together. Like I say, enjoying one another's company without actually being intimate with one another in that type of way. Like do a lot of that actually. Do a lot of that within your budget, of course. You know what I'm saying? Hallelujah.
Now, let me say this, because that was a segue for this next statement that I'm getting ready to make here.
Yeah.
And like I say, by me being older, sometimes I'll write down things because I definitely don't want to forget them. But what I have here is I wrote a lot of women complain that the man leaves the relationship because she refuses to give him sex. Now, outside of sex, now I'm talking about they were having sex already as boyfriend, girlfriend relationships. And I'm talking about even in marriages at this point. But a lot of women are complaining that the man leaves the relationship because she refuses to give him sex. Now, the question is, and I asked this before, outside of sex, what is she offering him? In other words, what about spiritual support? Is she offering spiritual support? Is she offering mental support? Do she actually help out with any finance that it might be a small sum of? Is she the type of woman that a man would actually regret if he lost her to another man? What is she bringing? Because, it's been some surveys asked, and I can't say this for most women. I'll say a lot of women, okay? When that question is asked, outside of sex, what does she have to offer to a relationship? A lot of times, I've literally watched some of these interviews where a woman had to be honest with herself, according to her, and say nothing. And she'll say, she is the prize. But we talked about what a prize is last week. She'll say he should be honored just to have her, period, because she's the prize. Now, I don't want to get back into what we recapped about the prize last week. So if you guys want to hear about that, if you haven't already, go back to episode 20, which was done last Sunday, and you can view that. But outside of a relationship, what in your past relationships? In your past relationships, in mine, in a man's relationship today, outside of sex, whether it's a marriage or just dating. Now, I'm not promoting dating to the point to where you're going out just being intimate.
Right.
Okay. I will say get to know a person, take them out, enjoy the time, get to know that person, become friends first and foremost. But what does she bring? What is she offering? I'm talking about your average woman, because the average woman, the way I see things is that she wants this man because in today's time, they have a high standard just for dating. In other words, it's not about love. It's not about making that connection today.
Yeah.
The day a woman wants you, you can be dating her for the second week and she's already trying to get you to pay her bills, right? Because she said, if you want to date her, you got to bring something to the table. You got to take care of her. So for me, saying something like that, wait a minute, you should be paying your own bills because that's what grown-ups do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? If I got to pay my own bills and I'm trying to get to know you to see if you're worth me making an investment in to where I'm going to be using my resources at that particular time to make sure that your life is easier, why are you trying to make my life difficult at this point? Just when I'm trying to get to know you, why should I spend unnecessary money paying somebody's bills who's grown just like I am? I thought last time I checked, that's what grown folk do.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I shouldn't be responsible to finance your life just because I'm trying to find out if I like you or not. Because I might find out that I don't even like you and you don't like me. And here I am out of a bunch of money because you demand I take you to nice restaurants and you see purses and always want me to take you shopping and all these. These are actual things that men today are experiencing. So speak on it. You folks are younger now. I don't know if everybody's a lollipop or if they just a sucker all day or whatnot. I don't know because I could never be that way. My finances should be only for my wife, not a girlfriend. Now, that's not to say that I've never done anything for a girlfriend, but it should be reciprocal if we do things like that, right?
For sure.
If you do something for a woman that you're dating, it shouldn't just all the time she's getting you to do things for her, but she never do anything for you. So again, that original question was, what are they bringing to the table besides that? So if there's a woman watching and you've been in that situation, because I'm not condemning women, I'm definitely not doing that. I'm saying in most cases, that woman wants somebody who's going to be an asset to her, right? And she's going to want somebody who has her back because it leads to a marriage. You want a man, she's going to want a man who's got her. And it should be that way. It shouldn't be that, but it has to be both ways. He needs to feel secure that she's got his back as well.
Right.
So again, what do y'all tell me something? If we get anybody that's a female that's out here watching us right now, you know, maybe you can give an experience and say what you brought to the table if you're married, because there should be some things like she should be able to bring some healing to you. She should be a nurturer. She should be kind. These are the things that a good man would want, and these are the things that a good woman would want to bring. You see what I'm saying? So she don't have to bring a bunch of material things. She can just bring the best version of her.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
She can bring a willingness to be a good helpmate.
For sure.
You see what I'm saying? So it don't have to be a monetary type thing at all. Is she supporting him? I'm not talking about financially. Is she like if he's having issues? Is she there to help build him up? Or do we have to deal with that on his own?
Avery, what you think, Avery?
I really ain't got nothing to say.
If you're going to speak on this here, you're a young man.
I already don't though, because I mean I'm right where you at though. I mean,
I know the answer.
It just
He put it on you.
it's just what you were saying. Like outside of finances, what do she bring? She got to bring. Is she there for my mental health, spiritually, all that? You know what I mean?
Can she spiritually uplift you?
A woman,
Can she mentally uplift? No, I'm saying in our
Mentally, yeah.
relationships, that's what we need as men. See, here's the thing. A lot of times people don't realize that men have emotions and feelings as well. But men were taught, hey, you suck that up. You deal with it. You a man. So many men today commit suicide. More than women. More men drop off, period. Who's going to be there emotionally for him? Because men have emotions as well, right? But we're not supposed to be walking around just out, you know, no.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, a man couldn't even like himself going around acting like that, let alone a woman.
Right. Yeah.
But when your day is rough, You should at least have a woman that when you come in, she know you had a beat up day and whatnot. She gonna just pull you in into her bosom, baby. It's gonna be all right. Here, let me go run you a bath or something. You see what I'm saying? To help build that man back up, because she know he got to go back out another day and fight to do what he got to do for his family.
Right.
So let's speak on that a minute here, because I want to know what you young fellas, what y'all experiences have been, or whatnot, or what you can advise other people that are looking to have better relationships, as far as something that you actually know.
Yeah, to be real with you, I mean that's the main thing you want to look out for is what is she, what type of value does she bring to your life? That could be something as simple as she brings a sense of humor. She makes you laugh. You know, she keeps you upbeat, optimistic. Like she brings a lot of positive energy in your life. You know, so that's what my eye is on off top. You know, as a man, you know, because I know I'm capable of taking care of any woman I want. But me as a man, you know, as the king, yeah, I'm looking for everything. I'm looking for those missing parts. Like, you know what I mean? And parts I'm missing myself. I feel like, you know what I mean? If I don't possess that element, she possesses that. Like, okay, wow. Or she's a reminder of how I should be, how I should act. Like, you know, I'm real big on how a woman communicates. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or are you a woman that tend to force things? Like, or do you force energy, or do you allow energy to, do you know how to, like, dissipate energy? Do you know how to cool energy down? Because I can get a little high-headed sometimes. I don't need another woman that's high-headed. You know what I mean? I need a woman that's going to remind me to be humble, to be meek. You know what I'm saying? So she may possess things about her that I don't possess. You know what I'm saying? Or it may be a reminder of how I should walk.
Brings that balance.
So, yeah, she brings a balance, man. Like, you know, something small, like if she's in your house, is she decorating? You know what I mean? Is she putting pictures on the wall? You know what I'm saying? Is she decorating the bathroom? Does she clean up? Like those things, like small stuff like that, are important to me because I like coming home to a clean house. I love coming home to a house that's clean and that smell good. Like, period.
Come on back over here to the shot, man. Come on over here.
I mean, y'all said anything for real. I
I want to hear
mean,
what you got to say.
We want to hear what you got to say, because see, here's the thing. There are people out there in your age demographic and things like that. And so what we want to do is we want to uplift everybody that's possible, that we can actually help uplift with wisdom, sound wisdom though. So things that are proven. See, as a male, you know what you want, you know what you don't want. But see, the things that we want, we don't want to not give somebody else what they want.
right.
In other words, we can't be selfish. Matter of fact, let me say this. Any selfish person should not be in a relationship at all, period. Because if a person is selfish, that means they're about self. And we have a lot of people who try to enter relationships, but they're selfish. So they want their needs met, but they don't want to meet the needs of the individual that they're with, whether that be a male or a female. That's not just.
I got a question. What do you mean? Like, you shouldn't be selfish at all? Like,
Listen. If I say, for example, I'm a married man. If I was a selfish man and I'm married, I'm being destructive to my relationship. I can't be selfish because that means it's all about me. If I have a wife and I have children, and I do, I'm putting my wife and my children first. Now, I know a lot of times somebody say, hey, you should always put yourself first. In some cases, you got to put yourself first in order to be in a position to where you can take care of a family. But when you're dating, for example, if you put that woman first for your purpose, then you can't have that time to be spending getting your purpose together.
You should say
You
that
feel
all
me?
the time.
So what you got to do is, at that point in time, see, here's the thing. A woman's, her best asset is when she's younger. A man, his best asset is going to be his resources. It's going to take that man time to get those resources together. So when a woman is, say, 18, 20, 22, 23, 24 years old, she's in her prime right then because she's got all her beauty there. Hopefully she's got some wisdom. But when a man is 20, 21, 22, he ain't got his resources built up, especially if he's looking for marriage. So he's got to have some things in order to bring to the table in order to entice this woman or to have her desire him as a mate. Now, he might say, well, he's cute and all this, but that ain't nothing. He should have at least a home, or working on trying to get a home or a house, apartment, something. Have maybe a little something in the bank. You see what I'm saying? Or at least have a decent job to where he's able to start saving or putting something away. He's got to have, he's got to at least have a vision of where he's trying to go.
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But in that case, at that particular time, a woman, like I say, her asset is the fact that she's young. She still have time to have children, to raise a family. You see what I'm saying? And still be able to spend time with that man should they get married, so they can still enjoy time together as well. So I personally believe that a man should be not way, way older, but definitely some years older than his woman.
I was meditating on that today too, just before a podcast. You know, it takes a real feminine woman to really be able to date a man that's older. And a lot of times that may, you know, help a woman actually tap into her femininity a little bit more when she got a man that's a little bit more seasoned. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, like this system, they tend to put men and women, even though women mature a lot faster than men, we tend to date women our age, but a woman your age is a lot more mature than you biologically, just off a rip. Like, you know what I'm saying? Whether they acknowledge it, men want to acknowledge it, or women want to acknowledge it or not, it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? So it takes you know, it's not for everybody though. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may find somebody older than you or the same age as you or younger than you. I'm not gonna put anything in a box because things can come in different ways. But I'm just saying, generally speaking, for the most part, that's a way we can produce better relationships off top. You know what I'm saying? If we understand the difference between a man and a woman. A man don't really start to really mature for real till he about 25, 27, and then even then, he still got to gather his resources, so he really ain't really ready for marriage till he about 30, unless you got a man that's just super, super, like was about his business, you know, from the time he entered manhood, which is 20, and you got men out there that's like that, but I'm just saying for the most part, going back to what you said, yeah, it's a good thing. It can be a good thing, but like I say, you gotta have a woman that's in tune with her femininity. A woman that's masculine, she not gonna want to deal with an older man because she want to be in control. So,
and let me tell you something. When a woman is dealing with a masculine man, and she know a masculine man is not gonna put up with a lot of foolery,
right,
that's gonna force her back into her femininity if, in fact, she's interested in being with that particular man.
There it is.
If she's interested in being with that man, because a more dominant woman is looking for what we refer to as a simp. Do you see what I'm saying? She's looking for a man that she can dominate, and a lot of that is going on in this country.
Oh, yeah.
Hence, with our women, with black women, and this again, ladies, I am speaking the truth, and I know that y'all know it. So it's not about a put down. It's about what we're going to do to fix these situations. We have a lot, and like I said, in a lot of cases, depending on what type of a job that a woman might have, she might be in a position where she's got a lot of people working up under her. She might enter into her masculinity, not really realizing that, because she's got to be productive. She's got to keep the wheel moving, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So she takes on positions sometimes that generally a man would hold, but now she finds herself as a woman in those type of positions, but she still needs to be able to compete for her job. Do you see what I'm saying? So she's got to get the same type of productivity. Mm-hmm. So that's one way that they can get off into their masculinity. But as far as dealing with relationships, because we come from generations of single parent households where mom was just there, I believe that's where a lot of this actually comes from. I'm not going to say that's where all of it comes from, but that's where a lot of it comes from. Right. People do what they know, and they fall into things generation after generation the same way. So now when, again, in a lot of relationships here in this country, in our communities, we see who's calling the shots. We see who's calling the shots. The women are calling the shots. And a lot of the men haven't stepped up to the plate to be the men that they're supposed to be.
know,
And I'm gonna go ahead and just interject real quick.
and a lot of people, a lot of men, a lot of people just don't know. You know, it's been a covenant between the white man and the black woman that a lot of men don't even understand or know the depth of. You know what I'm saying? The white man has completely infiltrated the black woman's mind. You feel what I'm saying? And that's why a lot of times a man he can't exert his masculinity in his household without issues, without pushback a lot of the time.
Because she'll always go to the white man.
She gonna go to the white man. Whether it's for divorce, she gonna get
Everything's
them,
right
gonna
there.
get them kids, you know what I'm saying? And she gonna get resources from the government.
I'm glad
know what
you
I'm saying?
understand that.
Oh,
But
yeah,
a
I
lot
know.
of young folks don't understand. I'm surprised that you brought it up, but you see, like I said, you're getting up there in age and you have some wisdom about you. But a lot of times the guys don't have the wisdom. See, I'm just gonna keep it respected.
Oh, yeah.
The white man is respected more so than the black man that's actually in the home. Now that's just a fact. Now we're not gonna have women who not necessarily going to admit that, but we should know all of that. We should know that. Hell, we saw that even when welfare went into place. A woman could get welfare housing, she can get everything, but it better not be nothing in the house to pertain to a man. We can see that with the way the system is designed, the judicial system. Like when it comes to child support and all these things, those are designed for a woman. And a man that has to be absolutely ignorant if he don't realize those things. That's another reason it's a benefit for a man to realize what type of a woman he's dealing with. Now, ladies, before you jump the gun, I don't want you to think that you should not make sure you're dealing with a good man. I'm saying that man should make sure that he's dealing with a good woman. And the reason I say that, and like I say, men have their flaws, but the reason I say that, again, is because 70 to 90% of women, they're the ones who initially leave a relationship, and file for a divorce, if in fact they're married. And if they're not married, they're the ones who initially leave the relationship, not men. And that's 70 to 90%. And then it's not the men who's dragging the women to go put them on child support. I'm not saying that don't happen from time to time, but the majority is the women doing it to the men. So a man has to be wise with the woman that he chooses to procreate with, because he could have took years to build up his resources and his assets. And then one day she decides she's not happy. And then she decides she no longer wants the relationship. And let me say this since I'm on that note. I need somebody to call, or not to call, but type in. Is it a man's responsibility to make his girlfriend or his wife happy? Is it, and vice versa? Now, I'm going to tell you before you even type in. It is not a man's responsibility to try to make any woman, he is not responsible for her happiness, nor is she responsible for his happiness. The man and the woman have to find happiness within themselves. Now, I can add to my wife's happiness and she can add to my happiness. See, that's the way that works. But it's to say if she don't make me happy, that means if she was no longer with me for reason of death or left, that I could never, ever be happy again. How foolish does that sound? But a lot of women have been told that if he don't make you happy, leave. They got that from Disney. That's not real. That makes no sense. But a lot of women have left the relationship because they didn't feel like he made her happy, which is foolery. Speak on it.
Yeah. You want to get on in there? All right.
You up the quiet today, homie? You ain't got nothing?
No. I'm here. I'm just listening.
It's all good. But yeah, to speak on happiness, I'm super glad you brought that up, because this is where I feel like you gotta test a woman at, because like women, a lot of times women hide things from men. Like sometimes you gotta get it from another woman, so to speak. Absolutely. Like for you to get everything if you want to know everything about a woman, ask another woman. Like sometimes. So when it comes to happiness, like happiness is important in relationships. And this is where you get to that honesty factor, because a lot of women are dishonest about the way that they feel about things. You know what I'm saying? But they'll be there if they know they got a man that can, you know what I'm saying, provide for them, and they'll put up with certain things. Like, or if you, like, just like a lot of women, they like, you know, men that got money, like fast money, like drug dealers and stuff like that. And, you know what I mean, people that's out there, like, that's really getting to it, they'll put up with a lot of things just based on that. But when you talk about creating an environment of happiness, but to see the thing about that is that don't produce good children. You know what I'm saying? Like, see, when a woman is in it for the wrong reasons, it's gonna affect the child.
Right,
Just
right.
like with a man, if he's in it, it's going to affect the children, because the children are like, man, why y'all put us in this messed up situation? Like, you know what I mean? So happiness is important in relationships, but we have to have the right perspective on where this happiness come from. Elder taught me happiness only come from the Most High. You know what I'm saying? It only come from God. Like, you know, he said a blessing of God make rich, and he don't add no sorrow with it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So happiness comes from him, but happiness comes from the decisions you make as an individual, more so than what somebody else is doing. Because and that's where it goes to, like, valuing yourself. See, if somebody is disturbing my peace and disturbing my happiness, guess what? I got free will to walk away and never deal with that person again if I don't want to. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody has the ability to do that, wrong or right. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you have to learn to choose you. You know what I'm saying? But happiness is the test of relationships. What's the point of being in a relationship and you're not happy with the person? You're not happy with the environment. You know what I mean? At that point, we either, like, it's because I've been in several situations, like, more so the one, you know, my last, you know, one. But, like, you don't want to be in a position to where y'all are unhappy. Like, you feel what I'm saying? Like, no, like, you know what I mean? At that,
It's negative energy.
it's negative energy. Who wants to live like that, man? Like, nobody does. So, you know, if a person is disturbing my happiness, and that's even with friends, like homies, like, okay, like, if I'm helping somebody out but they disturbing my peace, oh, bro, you gotta go. Like, see you later. You feel what I'm saying? Like, because guess what? If I fall down, like, then that's it. Like,
You don't have nobody to help
you
you
have
out.
nobody to help me out. So everybody has to look out for their own happiness, but keep in mind where your happiness come from. Now, it's one thing for you to be happy as an individual and somebody come and disturb your peace and disturb your happiness. You know what I mean? Men don't tend to disturb women's happiness unless you're dealing with a man that's, like, toxic. Like, you know what I mean? Like, super toxic, you know what I'm saying? But for the most part, like, we have to be mindful of that. So you got to have the right woman, and you got to know what type of man you are and have the right woman that's built for that. Because every woman is not built for every man. And that's why I say about the friendship thing, like, it's cool to be friends, like, because every woman is not built to be with me. Like, you may like me as a person, may rock with me, may rock with my vibe, my personality, my energy, and vice versa. But that don't necessarily mean we meant to be together. You get it? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm cool with just being happy, just being friends. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? When we see each other as peace. Like, and I want the best for you, you want the best for me. But we gonna go our separate ways, and that's cool. Like, you know what I mean? We don't have to do those things. Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's my little 2 cents when it comes to happiness.
Got a question again for both of you guys.
And you got a comment on here from a woman too.
Oh,
when you get
good.
finished.
Good. Read that.
She said, and she's new. Shalom, sis.
I don't know who you are, but thank you for tuning in. She said, who did y'all say is responsible for cheering his wife? What does cheer mean?
I know what she's talking about.
Okay.
I know what she's talking about. She's talking about doing that first year. Doing that first year when a man gets married, he stay home and cheer his wife up. But
Right.
you're wise and you're probably more closer. I'll let you explain that part there. Then we'll go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Okay, when a man marries a woman for that first year, and it's be a good thing if he already has some resource, so he don't want to be charged with going to work and going out doing things, that he should stay home for that first year and cheer his wife up. Now, that's completely different than making her happy. He's spending that time where he's establishing that relationship, whatnot. He's not conducting business or anything. What we're talking about, that's a difference between I'm responsible for your happiness. If that's like a Disney scenario. No man or no woman can be responsible for somebody else's happiness, because a lot of times if a person is just not feeling that energy, they have the ability, like you said, to leave away from that situation, because nobody can be responsible. We have to be doing things in our life that are pleasing to us. It went over that way. We have to be doing things in our life that are pleasing to us, that we enjoy actually doing, that's going to bring us pleasure, and we get our happiness from things like that, different experience, different memories, or whatever the case. But that's completely different than what you're talking about right there when you actually get married. And I know even though that's not done often today, I'm not saying nobody does it. I'm sure that people are capable who have an access of resources. They may be in a better position. But 9 times out of 10, just regular people, when they get married or whatnot, I haven't necessarily known anybody that I can point out that stays home. Now, I'm not going against what the scriptures say, but what I am saying is I've not personally known anybody who was in a position to do that because they got to pay the bills.
Yeah, I want to say something about that too.
Mm-hmm.
And it's it's important to cheer your wife up because that's that foundation, but more so, a man in that first year, he's not permitted really to his primary focus should be on the marriage. You know what I mean? That's what the Almighty is intending. And he's not to take on multiple wives during that year either. Like, that year belonged to her, that man and that woman. But she got some other comments. She said, cleaning up after yourself and cooking your own food are as much a part of adulting as paying your own bills. As a spiritual leader of a household, why isn't the man bringing his wholeness and healed self to the woman, or seeking it from the Most High to guide her with it, not seeking it from his subordinate? You want me to say it again?
Yeah, read that again.
She said, as a spiritual leader of a household, why isn't the man bringing his wholeness and healed self to the woman, or seeking it from the Most High to guide her with it, not seeking it from his subordinate?
Okay, I got you. I don't know how long you've been tuned in, but we had actually talked about that. We talked about a man should, as well as a woman, should be healing themselves prior to even going into a relationship in the first place, because we've experienced a lot of trauma, whether we want to admit it to ourselves or not. And a lot of times people don't even necessarily acknowledge it. A lot of times when a person, and I've been guilty of it even myself when I was younger, that I know that I just recently broken up in one relationship, and then next thing I know, I moved on to the next relationship. And there was no time to heal anything there, but a lot of times we don't really understand that we've been dealing with trauma. We don't understand that we've had issues. A lot of times we looked at things like it was always the other person's fault, and we never considered the part that we actually played. But a lot of times, again, we've never recognized the fact that we've dealt with trauma probably most of our entire life. And that trauma comes from all those different abnormalities that we've done, that we've seen throughout the course of our years, from the time we were old enough to really understand, even to this very day. We've dealt with things and took it as normal behaviors because we see it so often. But again, we can never, ever normalize anything that's abnormal. And that's what we've called ourselves doing. And it's affected us in very negative ways. And we have to acknowledge that. The first thing we have to do is acknowledge it before we can start to do anything about it, to grow into the person or persons that we're supposed to be.
Yeah, you got some more comments too.
Go ahead, read.
One of the brothers on here, he commented on your muscles. He said, I gotta have that old man strength when I get up in years. Don't want to look old and decrepit and feeble as I age. But he also said, screw marriage. Don't bring no children into this wicked world just to get it tainted. He said, you will be doing your kids a disservice and will bring yourself shame and depression when you see your children turn from the righteous instruction and become like everybody else. He said, looking for a righteous woman is like looking for mermaids in this day and age.
Well, I'm gonna say this, and then I'm gonna type in about how old you are, if you will, for me, young man, please. I'm gonna say this: that a woman, her desire should be a man's wife. A woman was created for a man because it wasn't good for a man to be alone. Now, I understand that the world is wicked and we all have done our part in its wickedness. We have to, first of all, acknowledge that. And that's not me condemning anybody, but that's me saying that I, even myself, have not always walked in the way that I should be walking. It's a learning process. The Almighty wanted us to learn to do well. And that's on us to actually have that desire to want to be better. That's just like my desire has been for quite some time now, just to be the best version of me. Because I want to be the best version for the Almighty, because I want the Almighty to continually bless myself and my household. So I'm on a path for a reason. And I understand that when we learn better, the requirement is actually to do better. But a lot of people don't want to make changes. A lot of people get uncomfortable with change. So what I say is sometimes we have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, because that's the road we got to take. So we can get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Everything is not going to be easy. Matter of fact, it's a tough road to walk. Scriptures say be strong and very courageous, because the Almighty know the situation that we're in. And just like I mentioned earlier, he let us know already that he's cursed our blessings, but we still get those blessings. And so it's hard for a woman in these days to find a good man, just like it's hard for a good man to find a good woman. But I'm not saying that they're not going to find one another, because if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. But what I am saying is men need to work on themselves prior to entering a relationship, and women need to work on themselves prior to entering a relationship. All this boyfriend, girlfriend stuff that we've been doing, that's abnormal behavior. That's a violation of the Most High. So when we say we are walking with the Most High, if we're still trying to deal with boyfriend, girlfriend relationships, then we're lying. And the Almighty, that's one of the things that he hates, right? He hates a lying tongue. The bottom line is we have to self-evaluate. We have to be honest with self. And then we have to make those appropriate changes, because we're living only by the mercy of the Most High. That's the reason we're alive today. If it only takes one transgression for us to lose our life, and as people, we've committed some of the same transgressions probably thousands of times, just that one, let alone not the others, thousands of times, probably millions of times, depending on our age. And the Most High has still allowed us to wake up and see another day. Then I would suggest that we owe him. We owe him, and we couldn't even repay him for the mercy that he's already shown us. But we can give some act right, and we can do the thing that's right. Once we learn that we've been doing something wrong, and we make the decision to give up some willful act right. The Almighty said, when we transgress, first thing we got to do is acknowledge that we transgressed. And then the second thing we need to do is confess it to him. Even though he already knows, just confess it to him. Then he said, if we turn from it and don't go that way no more, he said he'll wipe our slate clean. Now, man will always bring up what you did. I remember what you did 30 years ago. That's not the way Yah works. That's not the way my Creator works. He said, if I turn from it and don't go back that way no more, he going to wipe that slate clean. That's just like with David. King David, you will never read in the scriptures where he committed the same sin more than one time. You'll never read that. People will commit that same transgression thousands of times. Give you an idea of what I'm talking about right now. This girlfriend-boyfriend relationship stuff. Being a boyfriend and having a girlfriend and being intimate. That's a violation of the Most High Yah. But we want his blessings. We want his blessings. But we keep doing the same thing, knowing that we out of order. So if the Almighty's going this way and I'm coming this way, then we're not walking together. That means I'm walking against him. That means I'm out of order. Because he made me, I didn't make myself. But my thing is, we should be wanting to procreate, and then we should be wanting to raise righteous and an Elohimly seed to the Almighty. Because the children, just like ourselves, belong to the Most High. And he gave us instruction on the way to raise those children. That's just like if you go buy a brand new car, you look in the glove box, you get that instruction manual. Well, we had the instruction manual for our children before we even ever had children. And that instruction manual was his word, that scripture. So we had his word, so we actually have no excuse. So when our children are out of order, it's our fault. Because just like he knew Abraham would govern his household, first of all, we have to have households. We weren't supposed to go around just making babies, and the baby live over here with mom, and we live over here. And the child comes into the world with no sturdy foundation. I hate that term, baby mama and baby daddy, but you got baby mama house, you got baby daddy house, and the rules are different in each one of those houses. The child already comes in with a deficit already because the parents are out of order. So again, this podcast is about trying to help restore order. I know we're a small podcast, but we're going to always tell the people what we need to hear, and it's not going to always be accepted. I understand that. But if I don't stand for Yah, I'll fall for anything. And I've dedicated myself to trying to be a better version of me. He said to open up our mouth and go tell our people what we're doing, that we might come back to him.
He kind of going off where he said,
Who going on?
not in a
Okay.
disrespectful way, but
Okay.
he says, because I can tell you that you'll never find a woman on the same wavelength as us, unless I go to the House of Israel, Cincinnati, or ATL.
Let me respond just to that part.
You got it.
Understand this right here. Most people won't acknowledge this right here. Just because I'm an Israelite, and that is my birthright, that don't mean that I'm automatically saved. That don't mean that I'm a righteous person or anything. That don't mean that at all. Scriptures let me know that Israel has been the most hard-hearted, stiff-necked, rebellious people on planet Earth. But yet the Almighty said we were the apple of his eye. He said we're his battle axe, his world without end. He said we're married to him, that we're a wife to him. He's been the husband. And we've been dealing with him treacherously. See, none of us have been perfect. So it's very difficult for us to point the finger. The only thing we can do is acknowledge that we've been imperfect. And if I ever do be perfect, let the Almighty say it. I'll never come up out of my mouth that I'm perfect. My goal is for the Almighty to see me as that, but that means I got to put in the work. That means I got to open up my mouth and share. That means I got to be an example of what I'm talking about. Because I know I'm on borrowed time, just like most of us, if not all of us. The Almighty let us know we done worse than our fathers, than our forefathers. And when that great flood came that destroyed everything, the world had, 8 people that survived. 8 people. And we've done worse. So my first name, Yemuel, means the day of Yahweh. That's that great and terrible day. And I tell you what, I'm not looking forward to that great and terrible day because I know I've heard people say, I can't wait till he come back. He's going to destroy these wicked people. Well, most of us would be gone because I can't claim my own righteousness. I can say I'm striving for righteousness. When I fall down and I make an error, let me get up, brush myself off, and keep on that right path. But right now, what we're talking about is trying to help restore relationships. And like I say, when we find somebody that's not quite right for us, we acknowledge that off the top and move on. And I'm saying that because women give access to their bodies and men give access to marriage, ladies, I'm saying close them legs tightly. Keep them closed. Keep them closed. Make him step up to the plate. Make him step up to the plate. Now, I know sometimes when people are already in relationships, certain things that we feel like things are hard to do. And I understand habits are habits because habits are hard to break. But if we're going to walk with Yah, if we want to be right with him, then let's show him that we love him. Matter of fact, let's show him that we love breathing. Let's show him that we love the mercy that he's extended to us for all our days by giving him some willful act right.
Abria, Sister Abria and Yashabam. If I'm saying your name wrong, forgive me. Make sure y'all subscribe too, because y'all are making some great comments and we want to see y'all on the next podcast too.
Hallelujah.
But Sister Abria, and I missed your other comment, bro. He said, you just won't run into a woman in the world already following the Most High only and keeping his laws. I don't want to waste time hoping that I can teach a regular woman about the Creator from square root. And then Abria, I don't want to forget her comment as well because I think she made a good point. But she said, so the brothers can make mistakes, but the sister's value is her virginity. Everybody wasn't raised in this Hebrew lifestyle. Y'all mentioning body counts, mileage, naming names, etc. isn't atonement. I don't know what she's meant about naming names, but she basically was saying that every sister is not born into this way of life. And she's saying that we're making a priority. We're putting a priority on body counts and mileage, and you know what I'm saying?
I'm getting ready. All right, just get ready to get deep. I'm getting ready to repeat some things. I don't know who just came on or whatnot. But my thing is to glorify the Almighty, not to glorify man. This ain't about me. This is about what's right. So there was a comment made. Read that comment to me one more time about a body count.
She said, so the brothers can make mistakes, but the sister's value is her virginity. Everybody wasn't raised in this Hebrew lifestyle. Y'all mentioning body counts, mileage, naming names, etc. That is an atonement.
Let me say this here, and this is no disrespect to anybody, but this is respect for the Almighty's laws. I've been guilty of doing things myself that ought not have been done. Just like most people that are of age, and some that's underage, that's done things that ought not be done. I'm going to repeat some things that we started out with just to give, to preface what we're talking about that led up to body count. When a woman was originally married, and we're going back to when we were in our own land. I'm not talking about here. I'm talking about the way things were set up to be. A woman would generally be leaving her father's house. She would be getting married, okay? Let's say she got married. When she got married, she should have been a virgin, ideally. That was the case then. We know that's not the case now. But I'm keeping this in line with tradition because I'm always talking about, can a person, whether it be a male or female, with a modern mindset, can they keep the Almighty's laws? Because the laws were passed down to us by way of tradition. We kept the laws. We were a law-keeping people. Okay? So again, ideally, when a woman was married, she was a virgin. Right? So say she got married and her husband found no favor in her. So he gave her a bill of divorcement. Then she would leave her husband's house and she could go be another man's wife. Now, if she got married again and say that man, say after being with him, if he died or if he gave her a bill of divorcement, she could never go back to that first husband because the Almighty said that that land there, speaking of that woman, had been greatly polluted at that time. So now let's fast forward to modern times here. Say a woman, and we brought this subject up because we're trying to educate people solely for that reason. Say if a woman, because we've all made mistakes, men and women have made mistakes, and we'll have to deal with those mistakes. Say if she slept with, let's say 5, 10, 15. And you know, I say that those are low numbers compared to some of the numbers you'll find out there that women will confess out of their mouth. You see, and that's important for a man to know, because I also asked the question, does a woman's past matter when you're looking at this woman for marriage? Because if a woman has been with multiple men, then multiple men, if they've, is it cool to go do with this here? Because we talked about it. Okay, multiple men has made a deposit, should I say, into this woman. And he's depositing his DNA, which is going to, and this is biology, this is a fact, you can check it out. So that's going to alter even her personality. And the Almighty's already looking at that like that's polluted. Because if a woman couldn't go back to her first husband after being with that next person, and the Almighty said that land was greatly polluted, then what about the women who've been with multiple men? Don't worry, I'm going to get to talk about the men too. Because you can't have, and we're going to keep it biblical, you can't have a whore without a whoremonger. Again, men give access to who they marry. Women give access to who goes between her legs. And that's not a good thing in today's time because we as a people are out of order. I have been out of order. Surely I'm not the only one who should be able to admit I've been out of order. So when you know better, then you learn to do better. But the bottom line is, when a man deposits that woman, he's imprinting her for the most part. So he's giving her some DNA. So when she gets DNA from multiple men, then that's going to alter who she is. And it's going to make it very difficult for her to pair bond with any man. Because the man might not realize it, but he's always going to be compared to all these other different men. And she's not going to be able to just deal with him in the manner that he should be dealt with. That's not the case. Now, these are just hard facts. And I know a lot of times it's very difficult for a man to have conversations, certain conversations with women. And let me say it depends on the woman. It depends on the woman. And I personally don't know the people that I'm speaking with right now or whatnot. But I understand the truth hurts, especially when we accept the truth for men and for women. And because a lot of times it's because the woman who actually carries the baby, who ends up with the baby, and then a lot of times you'll hear, well, he was a bum, he was this, he was that, or whatnot. Then she have to acknowledge that she was the one who laid with this person. Now, it's both parties' responsibility, but the person that bears the worst part of it is the actual child. It's the child. Because the parents weren't right. The parents did things that they ought not have been doing. Now, that's in most cases. I can understand if a person was married and then maybe the father passed on or something like that and she got with somebody else or whatnot. But usually that's not the case. In this country right now, we have more baby mothers and baby fathers than we have husbands and wives, especially in our communities. And that's a fact. Now, I bring things up because I want us to do better. And I know as a servant of the Almighty, a lot of times people ain't going to want to hear certain things. But he said, cry loud and spare not and show our people their transgressions. He told us to go out and open up our mouth that we might help people restore their relationships with the Most High. That's what this podcast is about. And so in order for us to do better, we got to acknowledge where we messed up, period. So I'm up here. I ain't throwing nothing out that I know that ain't coming right back at me. Because the bottom line is, I know my shame. And when I look at it honestly, I should be shamed on myself about the choices that I've made in my lifetime. And the only thing I can do is continually try to be a better version of me. Hallelujah. Now, what else we got up there? Because I can't read it that far. Want to respond to everybody if we can.
He said, remember the prophet Jeremiah. Yahweh said, don't told him not to marry and have children. You got to know what times we living in, and we living in these type of times.
Yeah, but the Almighty also told us not to add to his word, not to diminish out from it, lest he was going to reprove us and we were going to be found to be a liar. He already told man and woman what he wanted from us.
That's a fact.
And so we don't deter from that for nobody.
If we stop procreating, that's not the answer. Not to procreate.
Yeah.
People got to be held accountable if they don't like it. I mean, they got to take that over the Most High.
Now, I don't know if I got a chance to ask this question here, but I'm getting ready to ask this question. I want y'all to respond, and y'all can type in on this question. Now, I'm going to ask it, but I'm also going to ask another question after this. So be careful how you ask. Remember, because all truths, it's a universal law. If something's consistent, then it's the truth. If it's not consistent, it's not a truth. So here's my next question. And this is the question to the men. Do you think that because you're dating a woman that she should start helping you pay your bills? That was a simple question. That was a simple question. I'm not going to say why I asked that question. And that question again was, and this is to the men, do you think that because you're dating a woman that she should start helping you pay your bills? Go ahead and type something in. I'm going to show y'all something. I'm going to show y'all something. I'm going to show y'all something.
She clapped back at you, Elder.
No, this don't require a clap back. No. Because see, they don't know where I'm going with this. That's the reason I said that part first.
Nah, she had clapped back at your last comment. That's what you said before.
Okay, we'll get to that.
We get to it.
We'll get to it. Because then I'm going to ask another question here.
Okay.
Yeah. Honestly, I agree with it. It depends.
Y'all break it down because y'all know, listen here. I'm not trying to.
So where we at? We trying to answer hers right now, or are we done?
No. I'm dealing with my. We can get back to that.
Okay.
We'll get back to that. We'll get back to that. Because I assure anybody who's listening to me, I'm coming in the right spirit with this. I'm not a woman hater or anything like that at all. I assure you. I'm up here trying to do the will of the Most High Yah, period. So I don't know if anybody had time to respond to that question that I just asked, but they didn't know what to say here. Look, read that. I just read this question here. Now, what does it say? What do it say?
It says flip it.
It says, now flip it. And the reason I asked that question and I put it that way first is because in today's dating, a lot, I won't say all, but a lot of women and a lot of black women in this country think that if they're dating a man, he should be helping them to pay her bills. That he should be helping her out. And so I feel like, okay, let me flip this first. That's the reason I said this question. Do you think that because you're dating a woman that she should be starting to help you pay your bills as a man? And I knew that answer was going to be no. So now let's flip it. If a man is dating a woman, should he be required by her? And I know this is not all women. I'm saying this because this is what a lot of women are doing. This is what dating is about in a lot of situations today in this country. That a woman thinks that a man should be helping her to pay her bills. But the last that I knew, that's what grown-ups do. We take care of our own responsibilities. That makes sense to me. Go ahead and respond if you want to.
Yeah, for sure. On my bills, no, but if I need help, I'm not gonna hesitate to ask. You know what I'm saying? Especially during these times. I mean, we got to be realistic. I'm not, like I say, I don't mind a woman asking me how much I make a year or an hour or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I don't mind. I'll be transparent with her. Like, look, this is what I make. You know what I'm saying? So you don't get to thinking I'm some rich man or anything like that. No. Like, you know, resources is very, you know, is hard to come by, especially during inflation. So we got to keep it 100. Like, you know what I'm saying? So when it comes to paying bills and things like that, like, not my personal, I don't expect any woman to pay for stuff I can pay for myself, like my clothing, shoes, a haircut, things of that nature. Like, to me, those are accessories. You know what I mean? A man should have money set aside for those type of things. But when it comes to things like our bills, like for the kids or for the house or things of that nature, yeah, if I feel like if this woman is supposed to be my helpmeet and I need help in this area, yeah.
No. Let me clarify. Let me clarify what I was saying. I was saying when a man is dating a woman.
Oh no.
Should he be? Is it his responsibility to make sure her hair and her nails is done, and then she needs her car note paid and all these different daggone things, and she's short on her rent? No, what I am saying is these are things that grown-ups do. So the reason I started out asking that question is because a lot of women are requiring that. A lot of black women, let me be explicit, a lot of black women in this country are requiring that. That's some of their requirements, and y'all can see it all over the internet as well, just like I have, That's what they require. And if a man say he's not willing to do this, then he's referred to being dusty and all these other things that they come up with. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
nah,
they
them-
start these,
Them type of women, them women that scheme on men.
Mhm. That's a bunch of foolery is what I'm saying. So that's the reason I put it that way, so that I can flip it and say, because if you know that you're not responsible for a man handling his affairs, because those are things he's responsible for, then a woman shouldn't expect that a man should be responsible for paying her bills and helping her out. That, I mean, if a person wants to help out, that's one thing. But to require that, that's something completely different. So that's what I'm speaking on right now. We just want to be right with one another, period. It shouldn't be about what I can get out of this person in a relationship. No, that's not what it's about. And relationships should be reciprocal. So in other words, if I'm helping you, return the favor, and then you help me, and we're working together like that. But I'm talking about this one-sidedness in order for, that's just like when they talk about and again, when I talk about women, trust and believe I'm not talking about all women, just like when I talk about men, again, I'm not talking about all men. When somebody is trying to get to know you, you have other women out there teaching women that he needs to go out and take you to a 5-star restaurant or take you to a place you wouldn't even take your daggone self to. And I'm talking about just, I'm not talking to this young lady that typed in, I'm talking just in general. But women, black women have put certain standards out that they wouldn't do for their own daggone self, but think a man is supposed to do that just to get to know them. Well, what's wrong with going on a coffee date or going out, walking through the park or going to a place that's not noisy so you can have conversations? You know, go to the park, sit down on the bench, take a little picnic basket with you or something and get to know one another. Why do it have to be costly? Why do we have to be spending a bunch of money? And again, I know this is not all women. But there's a multitude of women who feel this way, and that's why we got there. We need to get to another point because that's something that I actually want to wrap up before we get started. But let's try to get this together. Yeah.
She said, okay, all right. She said that's opinion, not scripture, referring to what you just said about the parabolic thing. She said that's opinion.
No, that's
not
fact.
Scripture.
Hold on. Let me make this clear.
My grandma was widowed 4 times. Getting married again was lawful. Your difficulty parabolic theory is a doctrine of man.
Facts are facts. And like I say, I'm not here to cause any confusion.
Right.
And like I say, the only people that will be offended, you know, they have their reasons.
She said, with all due respect. She said that.
I'll leave it at that. With all due respect, what I'm saying is facts. You can research it yourself. Those are facts. I don't make stuff up. And the things that I do say is because we're outside of the law. And so it's only by means of correction. Now, the Almighty did let us know to cry loud and spare not.
They climbing up there.
What's going on? I can't read up there.
Yeah, no, we gonna read it for you.
But there's something else. I wanted us to still be able to get this.
They answered your questions too. So she was
Okay,
like,
read it for me.
The brother, he was like, if she offers, LOL. He said, we could all use a sugar mama.
Listen, guys. What I'm saying though is, like I say, I flipped that because again, not all, but a lot of women, and this stuff is trending. You know, it's like this girl code is out there. Most men who pay attention to what's going on in the world today know I'm not lying. I'm not in this here for my own glory or anything at all like that. That ain't what I'm about at all. You know, and I answer to the Almighty. He know my motive, and I speak to him before I get behind the podium on the Sabbath day. I speak to him about what's going on before I do this podcast. Because this is about correction. And a lot of times, just like scripture say, correction is grievous to those that forsake the way. Period. I understand that. I understand that. So if I'm talking about any subject and it don't pertain to an individual, then that individual is just taking that communication, put it in the memory banks, and it's cool. But I always make the statement that I know that anytime I say something, when I get feedback that's not positive, it's going to be coming from somebody who's guilty of certain things. Like I said, I'll be the first to say I've been guilty of violating the Almighty's laws. That's the first part of healing and getting myself together. Because he says when we transgress, the first thing we got to do is what? Acknowledge it. And then after we acknowledge it, then we confess it. Once we confess it to him, even though we already know, he said, then we turn away from it and don't go back that way no more. Then he'll wipe their slate clean. So I do know that I'm in order with the way that I am saying things. And my thing is not to try to tear down any woman, any man. You know, a lot of time before we can be rebuilt up, we got to be stripped down. But I'm not trying to cause any harm. That's not my motive. And anybody who knows me know what I'm about. So for anybody who's just seeing me or hearing me speak by way of the internet in this particular time, that's not what this format is about.
Right. Yeah. Check the other episodes out, y'all. We got way more
Yeah.
episodes there.
We get deep here, and we got to be strong in order to entertain these topics. But see, I tell you this here, and I tell any man this here: if you want to ever start an argument with a woman, just tell her the truth. It's not that you want to start an argument, but see, here's the thing: we both genders have to be accountable. Both genders have to realize our part that we play, and that's the reason these conversations come up, because we want to help promote relationships that lead to a marriage if in fact they're not already married. We're just trying to help relationships to progress, because sometimes people get stuck in a stalemate, period. I want to do one review. I'm getting ready to send this to you, and this is good right here. I'm gonna send this. Matter of fact, I'm gonna pull it up and then
You want to just send it to my phone?
yeah, I do that right real quick.
While you doing that, hey, sis, she said, find them is a whole kink out here. LOL. I don't know what that even
I
means.
said find them.
I think that's a term, maybe. I don't know. Sis, if you can explain what you mean by find them. But she said, can we stop acting like some men don't like it? Money is one of the 5 love languages. Just say you broke. LOL. Josh Shabon said, marriage isn't priority now. Seek the creator face. Seek meekness. Keep the laws. Pray he come back. That brother that gave up all hope. He ain't got no hope. Yeah.
Kim, I'm sending this to you right. Oh, that was the do. Yeah, I'm sending this to you right now. And then if you can put it up, let's talk about this right here. Just send it to you.
YouTube video.
YouTube video. And it's something that should never happen, and we should never put ourselves in these type of situations to where we actually have to go down here to this man. That's not what the Almighty prescribed. You know, when we allow ourselves to just keep doing wrong, we're gonna find ourselves down here having to deal with this man. So we're gonna deal with this here, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Y'all give some insight on what you see. I say this is foolery by all means, and it should not be this way. I think we got a lot more comments than we've been getting, huh?
Yeah, must be enjoying it.
That's good then.
Yeah,
That's good.
be enjoying the show.
I can't wait to get back and get in there and read them myself. Mm-mm. That's not it.
You just need no brand, bro.
That's not it. What does the cover look like here?
Oh, I see what it's called. I see.
That's it right there.
Not no time after. And I don't gotta sit here. 6 o'clock is the exchange time, not 6:20. Not no time after that. And I don't gotta sit here and wait on you to file a police report. If you want to file a police report, you file one. I get my son, we go. That's how this shit work. You want to sit here and try to make me, they ain't gonna say, oh, he can't go with him. It's a court order. It's court order, he's with me in my custody. And this shit here that you doing is gonna stop. Pass my son to me.
I already told you I'm getting a police officer.
I don't care.
Okay then, so why you all up on me? You wait till the police officer.
I don't gotta wait on nothing.
Yes,
you
do.
exchange, I leave,
Well, I'm not.
and you
now
file a
he's
police
in my
report.
custody. Is there a police officer inside?
Guys, she is dead wrong. Mind you, he get the kid 5 days out of the 7. And she complicating common sense. And I want you to look at the comment section. Go look at the comment section, guys, and tell me what you see.
Usually on those comments, a guy get dogged out for being a deadbeat. This is an active father who's trying to handle his responsibilities with his child, and she don't want to do right. And in a lot of cases, I don't know what that situation is, when a man no longer wants to be with that particular woman. In a lot of cases, not all cases, she gives him grief about being able to see his child or have his child. But in this case, he get custody 5 days out of the 7.
One of the comments is, I'm a single mother of 3 kids, and I would love if I had a baby father like this father is, because my kid's father want nothing to do with my kids.
Yeah, Mike, that.
And this man wants to be in his child's life and doing everything he is supposed to be doing. And this so-called mother is literally trying to do anything and everything on purpose to make the father look like he in the wrong and bullshit. I give mad props to his father for everything he is doing for himself and most importantly for his child. Refusing to relinquish custody as per a court order is a very quick way to lose custody entirely. I'm a black woman. These men better start calling the police on these women. If the court order visitation, things change when you change them. They should arrest and charge women that use their children as tools for vindictiveness. Don't ever use your kids as a weapon against your ex, ever. The dad was awarded sole custody now. That poor child being exposed to her evil ways. I'm so happy fathers are standing up for their kids. Yeah. This hyena hate the father more than she loves the child.
So what I'm saying is, in a lot of cases, we don't see this because people don't really show it. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of women, I'm not saying all women, but a lot of women will use that child as an instrument against the man because the man no longer wants to be with her.
Right. Yeah.
And so they'll be told. So that's why I say, men, be careful who you lie with. Matter of fact, the person you lay with should be your wife. And the person that's your wife, especially if she's a Hebrew woman, she should understand that we shouldn't be dealing with this foolery anyway. Now, because I understand that Israel is the most hard-hearted, rebellious, stiff-necked people on the planet, I understand that a lot of our women go down to the court system too. A lot of our women do just like that woman right there. A lot of them. So I'm not going to just, say they are all right just because they're Hebrew Israelite women. That don't mean nothing. It don't mean nothing just for a man being a Hebrew Israelite man. People going to be who they going to be, and everybody's not trying to be right, unfortunately. But I thought that was really just horrible to see a child being used as a pawn because this woman want to have her way, not even considering the child.
Yeah, man. People like that, women like that is cursed, man.
Real talk. Women like that is cursed. Stay away from them.
When I talk about being estranged from the womb, that looked like an example of that. Because that ain't something that just happened overnight.
Yeah. The Almighty, He tells us not to be a respecter of persons in judgment.
That even, you know, even when it come to women, when a woman do wrong, a lot of times men like to give it a pass or,
Right.
oh yeah, she good, she cool, bro. You know how women is, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, nah, but wrong is wrong and right is right. You know, I won't want no woman putting no hands on my son just as much as I don't want my son putting their hands on a woman. So, you know, it go wrong is wrong. You know, we got to stop giving people a pass, no matter who they are. Don't be respecter of persons. Yeah, nah, that was a good video, though. Great video.
It's done every day.
And see, that's what this podcast is about, man. Trying to right or wrong. So if somebody get upset with me because I'm going to tell the truth, that says something about who they are. Matter of fact, with the book of Proverbs, and I love, outside of learning the law, Proverbs is my go-to because this taught me so much about people. And the people in my circle that really know me know when I'm saying this, I can back it up. I can back it up with my words because I can feel the energy. I can, man, I'm good with it. And that's a blessing. So I ain't taking no credit. The Almighty just showed me a lot to where I'm accurate with the things that I say. Just like this, that shit I give up here, man. You know, I'm not trying to make nobody feel the way, but I am trying to have us to consider. You know, a lot of times we make errors. Let me put it that way. Because once we do something more than once or twice or something like that, it's no longer a mistake. So we have to, you know what I'm saying? We just didn't use good judgment. So as an older man, like I say, I'm getting ready to be 66, man. I'm getting ready to be 66 this month. So I done been around for a while. I don't have no reason to try to pull the rug from up under anybody. If anything, I know most likely I have more years behind me than I have left in front of me. So I'm trying to make these years that I still have behind me, I'm trying to make them right. I'm trying to utilize those years by trying to really be productive. You know, if I keep wisdom to myself, do it really benefit me to have it?
Right.
If I keep knowledge to myself, is it a benefit to me? No, it's more of a benefit when I can share it to put somebody on to something that they may not have even considered. And we are people who don't even like to consider.
Facts.
I mean, we are. It's just what it is, man. So I'm one who, regardless, I'm going to stand for Yah. I'm standing for Yah.
Yeah.
I'm standing for what's right. I've had my time when I was younger, just being a fool. And there's so many ways to be a fool, you can't miss them all. So we all going to play the fool at one point or another. You know what I'm saying? But that don't mean we have to play the fool all the time. And when I say fool, let me give a definition. It's either a very unwise or a very silly individual. And in a lot of cases, we're just unwise.
Yeah.
We're unwise.
Mm-hmm.
So we just gotta do better. So we got any more comments or questions up here? We want to clear the board here before we exit here. Make sure we got everything.
This is one last comment. He said, "All topic, but how does this elder keep fit? Is the calisthenics, weightlifting more effective?"
Well, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I will say this: before all of my workouts, I ask the Almighty to continually bless my workouts. I ask Him to bless me with physical strength as well as mental strength, that it might be well with me, along with some other things. And I can remember, I always say a prayer before I work out. I give all glory to the Almighty for anything that I've ever been able to accomplish. I'm a former competitor. I was a top-ranked amateur, and then I was able to turn pro, and I was a top-ranked pro. Matter of fact, I'm a former United States bodybuilding champion, but I give all that glory, all that to the Almighty. But I was out of order even when I was doing that. See, my thing is, I want to right or wrong. I was under the impression, even though I knew better, because those competitions were on the Sabbath day. So I had the audacity to justify, or attempt to try to justify, that when I'm not doing a show, at least I'm at the sanctuary. Well, I had some issues in a relationship some years ago. And then I said to myself, not to somebody else, I ain't never doing no more shows. And I believe that was in 2001. I quit doing shows because I was out of order, even trying to justify that the Almighty was blessing me. That let me know. He was just giving me enough rope to keep hanging myself. And so I was out of order. And knowing that I was out of order, still trying to justify that the Almighty blessing me, no. It came to a point to where I had to make a decision. And my decision, I didn't say it to somebody else. I just said it to myself, I ain't doing no more shows. So I just quit. I still train. I'm not at my best right. I mean, I'm good, but I'm trying to get myself back together. So this is I appreciate the sentiment or whatnot, and I get that a lot from people. I really do. So I appreciate it.
How many push-ups should we be hitting as young men in their 20s? How many push-ups
Well,
should we be hitting a week?
Well, I'm gonna tell y'all, and this is honest. Even my son Knowledge. Y'all know Knowledge. I got my son and my daughter. Well, it was required to do 500 push-ups every time I do it 3 days a week. So anytime I start my workout out, I don't even count the push-ups as part of my workout, but I'll start out with 500 push-ups. That's just me, and then if I go over 500, then I'm the type of person I double up. That means I can't stop at 600 or 550. No, I know, another 500. That's 1,000. And if I go, I just move at 500 blocks.
Right.
So whatever I do, I'm moving in those blocks, and I've showed people stuff I don't really like to talk about too much because it almost sounds like braggadocious, and that ain't what I do. So and I've been blessed, really, man, to do some things that most people, if they didn't see me do it, they would think that I was lying if I told them certain things. But I give the Almighty the glory for all of that because, man, for real. I give the Almighty glory for all that because certain things I can't even imagine doing certain things. And there was a guy, close friend, he's like a brother to me, Andre Bronskill, call him Ish, was my workout partner. We would just constantly push one another, and Ish would do super stupid stuff too. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. You remember? Yeah.
Strong.
We just love to push people. I don't know. There's a brother named Kelia. You know Kelia?
Yeah.
On that bar had Kelia do, and Kelia's a big guy. Back when he was training with me, he did 187 straight push-ups. When this guy first came to me, he was like 350.
Yeah. Dang, 350 on 100.
Yeah, 187. I still got his records over there. Yeah, I still got him and his brother's records over there in the gym.
Yeah.
But that's off topic. I didn't mean to go on any tangent or anything.
That's good.
A
lot of the young men want to, because a lot of the young men we losing our testosterone, we losing masculinity because everything is digital now. Everybody more so in the house, so the physical aspect of a lot of young men is just missing. But for some reason, they still want to be treacherous. They want to act like they something, but they not that. You know what I mean? So, and then a lot of men ain't even fighting no more. A lot of men killing each other, just picking up guns and shooting each other, killing each other. So, a lot of things can just be solved just by just hitting the gym. You know what I mean? If men ain't got that type of outlet, it's like, that's going to create problems as it is too. Like, if you're not releasing that tension, that stress, it's like...
You got to, man. Like I say, my daughter, Winston, she's 16. She's real small. My wife's size and whatnot as far as height. I started training her when she was 2 with them hands. Right now, she got hands and feet. I got videos of my daughter kicking me out. I had to start wearing protective gear when she put her feet on me. Because I needed her to see what it felt like in order to do certain things. And when she bent me over and she saw me move, she was like, I'm sorry, Abba, I'm sorry. But I needed her to know what it's like and whatnot. So, yeah, that's one of the things I really enjoy, seeing people get themselves together and actually helping them to get themselves together.
That's amazing. Cool.
So, but that's that. So, are there any other questions, comments, concerns, or any particular part about relationships that you would like us to talk about? I probably already talked about it, but I don't mind reiterating if there's a request for particular topics dealing with relationships that hopefully leading to a marriage, or if they're already married or whatnot. And the whole reason for this is because I've been out of order in my days or whatnot, and when you learn better, you do better, and you want to help other people to at least consider doing better, and that's what this is about. That's what it's about. It ain't about bragging. It ain't about me thinking that I'm better than anybody else or anything at all like that, because I'm not. If this table was like the beach and everything was just sand on here, I just wet my finger and put down there, and then all the little grains of sand, let me just knock them off and leave one on there. That's me. That's me.
We appreciate you coming out again, Elder. Beautiful podcast. Bro, you got anything you want to say before you shut up? Did you enjoy it or what?
Oh yeah,
You've been quiet most of this time, man. You must have been considerate.
No. Podcast is all about learning, man. You feel me? I'm just learning. You feel me? A podcast ain't always about talking. You feel me? I'm learning. You feel me? You feel me? And it's an elder in place speaking that wisdom. You feel what I'm saying? So I'm just learning. You feel me? So when I go back out here, I know that you say correction. You feel me?
Give me one thing that you learned today.
I got 5 baby mamas.
Ooh.
And 7 kids.
Every don't be playing.
Ooh.
Yeah, so you feel me? That's why I said I'm learning.
Mute your mic for a second. See there, ladies? Like I say, keep them tight. Keep them tight. Keep them tight. Keep them tight.
My journey cool. I don't. You feel me? I don't have no problems or no drama. That's me. You know what I mean? Like I said, no child support. No, I don't argue with my baby mamas. We don't do none of that. Like, you feel what I'm saying? So yeah, I can't speak on half of the stuff he was saying about it. Like, especially that video. I ain't never went through nothing like that.
Right.
That's crazy.
That's a blessing, bro.
That's crazy. So I mean, yeah, in the guidelines, you're supposed to only have one wife, blah blah. But yeah,
Well, you can have more than one wife. You just gotta be able to take care of them.
yeah, I guess. Yeah,
You're just doing things a little backwards, that's all.
a little backwards, because yeah.
So what you plan on doing about that? If anything. I ain't putting no pressure.
I'm chilling. Like
You sound like Star Wars. Oh, chill.
I'm just chilling, yo. Like, you feel me? I'm just really chilling. Like, I'm just chilling. Cause I'm also married too. So yeah. So yeah.
Brother mine.
Hey.
All right. That must wraps it up.
All right, we appreciate you guys for tuning in. Please share this video. Please subscribe, hit the like button, do all those things. And like I say, I hope nobody was offended, because that's definitely not my intention to offend anyone. But my thing is to make sure that the Almighty, He gets His praise, He gets His glory. And we're instructed to go out, cry loud, and spare not, and lift up our voice like a trumpet and show y'all's people the transgressions. And I've been out of order myself. I'm not a perfect man, and if I ever do be perfect, let those words come from the Most High Yah.
Right.
Hallelujah.